Right, so we are live. Oh, I'm
Oh,
live here with,
already. Hello.
yeah, live with Jean Pierre de Villiers. Amazing, JP.
Hello.
Um, Many of you already know JP, who normally speaks at our boot camps and writes business bundles and is just amazing. So if you don't, JP is an international speaker, coach, best-selling author, world-renowned, just all-round awesome person. And I'm just very, very privileged to have him as one of my great friends. So, and
Guys.
JP, yeah, I mean, I know JP, you are so, so busy, and I'm so, so grateful that you've given up the time to, to do this live because oh my word, we're going through such an uncertain time. And I know we just had a minute before we jumped on, but you know, I've been really, really strong through this, and I've just had a meeting with my team, and I'm just like, it's the reality hitting kind of thing. So anything that you can offer that is going to be help. And I saw something that you did the other day about sort of your immune system staying strong in this. And I think just anything that you can offer because, you know, it's just a time nobody's ever gone through before. I know as salon owners, we have to be strong for our teams and families, and you have to be that responsible person, but sometimes you just feel like you're crumbling inside, which I must admit I'm, you know, a little bit like that today. So I'm just sorry about being a little bit emotional. So but thank you, JP. Anything you can offer, great.
It's okay to be emotional when you've just spoken to people that you love. So let's just before we start, let's just take a deep breath.
Yeah, yeah.
So first of all, how much time do we have? So I know how deep to go on my.
um 45 minutes.
Okay, great.
How,
So first of all, obviously the theme for this conversation is how to thrive, or even to some people, thriving right now might be just too out of reach. So we can either say how to thrive or how to survive in times or these times of uncertainty. And before I go into it, and I'm going to share many ways, including immune system protection and lots of other things. But just so everyone understands here, I'm not speaking from an ivory tower or being untouched. Like I'm very much being challenged, like you, Susan, by this challenge. My business is being challenged. I'm having to make decisions in my business that I've never ever had to make. And I've been self employed my whole adult life. I'm coming to 40 soon. I'm staying home more than I ever have done in 15 years. I am obviously concerned about the health aspect and the amount of people getting ill and people dying and how so there's lots of different things that also put me in the pot of uncertainty. So let me just share that we're all in a pot of uncertainty right now.
yeah. And
Some of us.
nobody's ever gone before. It's like it's there's nobody an expert in this because it's never happened before, is it?
Unless you are 60, 70 years plus, you've never experienced anything like this in your life before. That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
Um, as a, generally speaking, as a population, as opposed to individual traumas and experiences that we go through. But as a whole, we've never experienced anything like this before. So yes, it's going to feel scary. Yes, it's going to feel surreal. I'm sure that many people watching this or just living today are having moments throughout their day where they're thinking, what is going on? Like, I mean, it's like we're living in a movie and it's not a fairy tale.
I'll tell you what's even stranger for me, as you know, I'm out in Thailand now, and you know,
Oh,
I'm
just remember, you're still in Thailand.
yeah. But the thing is that it's because everything's so calm here, because you haven't got the volume of people, because you are, everyone is being so responsible, so responsible. I'm finding it hard to like look at what is going on in the UK, because I do feel like I'm in a bubble. You know, there's 0 cases out in Shillong province where I am. And, you know, but everyone is still taking it very, very seriously. But in the UK, it just seems that it's as if like it's just, I mean, it's going to go away.
Maybe that's why there's no cases in Phuket. You know, I've been monitoring that carefully, and that's because everyone's taking it so seriously. Or maybe it's just luck. I don't know, but I'm very jealous of you being there right now, because where we need to be for our mental health, for our immune system, and for our own sanity, and also for our own health, is to be in a place of sunshine and relaxation right now. So to anyone that's in the sunshine, and you know, you're able to be in the sun right now, relax, 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 because one, that's going to boost your immune system, and the sunlight destroys the virus. UV destroys coronavirus. So first of all, it's interesting that you share that, Susan, because you say, I'm in Thailand, I'm very relaxed. By the way, everyone that I know is in Thailand. Everyone that I've spoken to in Thailand is relaxed. So
Yeah.
you've really got to not ignoring the virus. The virus is the virus. It's a virus. It exists. It's hurting people, harming people, and killing people. But you really have to think, if there's certain people that aren't being as fearful or as anxious or as unraveled by this, what is determining the amount of fear and uncertainty that we have? The first thing we've got to look at is our environment. Because without me preaching about the importance of our environment and how it dictates how we feel and how we show up in the world and how we think, you've just said it yourself. So to speak, the proof's in the pudding right there. Everyone that I speak to in Thailand is very chilled out. Obviously, they're hurt by it. Businesses are hurt, but there's no real emotional reaction to it. But when you go online, you, Susan, in Thailand on a villa facing the Andaman Sea in the sunshine, you look at videos and stuff, I'm sure that your fear and uncertainty and anxiety goes up.
But as well, you know, the thing is that I think people are so immersed in like the social media and the news and things like that. And obviously, you know, in a law of attraction, I don't know whether that's why it's like accelerating so fast as well everywhere, because nobody's talking about it out here. You know, everyone is, as I say, they're very, very cautious, but nobody, it's not like, you know, the conversation everywhere. And
so I'm not saying people that have died or got ill from, what's it called, COVID-19. This is how little attention I pay to it. I don't even know how to call it correctly. Let's just call it coronavirus. I'm not saying that they intentionally got it, but we do have to be careful, because where we put our focus is where we put our energy. So if we put our focus on something that has negative energy or low frequency, then what we do is we get more of that thing. We attract more of that thing. Of course, when we're stressed and overwhelmed, everyone knows that you're more susceptible to getting ill because you're of a low vibration. So you and I have known each other for years. We've both been students of the law of attraction for years. We wouldn't be 10 years later, a decade later, Susan, if we didn't know that it worked. Because, I mean, practicing the law of attraction without getting any results for 10 years would be pretty foolish, right? When we should just be trying something else. So we know that the law of attraction works. And, you know, we've got to come back to what I was saying. I do believe that by you, even though you're relaxed and happy and calm about the whole situation, by you looking on your phone from Thailand and you're looking at the UK, you're then feeling the emotion and the energy of the UK. Now, there's energy everywhere. Everything is energy, and energy is everything, and everything's operating at a vibration. So the more lower vibration stuff we consume, the more we lower our vibration. So fear will lower your actual every because everything is energy. Everyone resonates at a certain frequency. Everyone and everything resonates at a frequency. You can go look at the facts of that. So I think it's the frequency of coronavirus is like 5 to 15 hertz. We operated anywhere between 40 and 200 hertz, depending on whether we are in love or kindness or etc., etc. But anything that makes us feel negative, anxiety, fear, overwhelm, stress, this can lower our vibration to a 0 point hertz, a
Right.
0.1, a 0.5, which makes even the virus a higher vibration than you. So really right now, and I did a video on this yesterday, I didn't talk about energy and hertz and all that stuff because I didn't want to freak people out too much. But what I spoke about was your immune system. Right now, the most important thing to do in your life is protect your immune system,
Yeah.
because the immune system that you have is the army that you carry around with you every day. It's the military circle around you, putting up boundaries, putting up barriers so that it can protect you from things like the virus. So what's going to help us to affect our immune system? Let's go back to what we just discussed. It's what you consume. If you are in a place right now where you're being financially challenged and you go consume news and information about businesses closing down and people going bankrupt, you are not doing your life a favor. You're not doing yourself a favor. And more specifically, or most specifically, you're not doing your immune system a favor, because fear is a low vibration. And if you're already doing your best to stay positive and you consume fear, that's counterproductive. It's counterintuitive. You are now lowering your vibration to be even more susceptible, more open to the virus because of what you're consuming. And that goes for how we breathe, how we think, what we consume, what information and education we take in, how we eat, what we eat, the amount we eat, the time we eat. All of these things can heighten or lower your vibration. So I have a chart in my business, which is we call it an energy management chart. And on one side, it says everything that raises your energy: love, gratitude, kindness, compassion, fitness, nature, animals, etc. Every single thing. And then on the other side is all the negative things, things that actually rob you of your energy. So you can find variations of this chart on Google. Maybe I would think off the top of my head, the easiest thing to Google would be a chart of energy frequencies, or a chart of things that give you energy and things that take your energy away. But definitely don't be, ignorance right now more than ever is not bliss.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
educate yourself. I do not have any fear, because I've looked at too many perspectives of this whole pandemic. There's so many perspectives, there's so many opinions, there's so many views. I'm too aware to be afraid.
Yeah,
But
I
when
think
we
that's what it is, because it is just all opinions, isn't it? More because it's say there's no experts because nobody's been through it. So even the experts who are working on it are learning to be the experts in
even
it.
experts are, we've got to, and you don't have to believe this, but it will benefit you that even experts are giving you their opinions.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
said for many years, Susan, that treat every single thing as an opinion and then create your own facts. And your own facts should be based on what you believe, what your intuition tells you, and what makes you feel good. So, okay, I can believe that. My intuition tells me that's the right thing to do, act, feel right now. And does this make me feel good? And if not, why would you choose? Why would we? There is a killer virus going on in the world. But why would we, or why would I choose my thoughts that make me less than what I already am, that make me feel worse than I already do?
This is why I'm really, really pleased that, there's all these people starting like virtual choirs and things with like loads of people who really can't sing, but just having a damn good time, because it's like, it's really sort of the better you can feel, the because if you just wrapped in sort of like, I think people think, oh, we shouldn't be happy at this time, but why not? Like that's be happy that it's not affecting you, kind of thing. That's what I think.
Be happy for your health. I wouldn't say happy is a challenging word to put out there right now, because people will be like, how can you You
Yeah,
can't be right now. And look, because of my social media audience, I've had 2 or 3 people over the last 3 weeks say, how dare you post this, or how dare you say this, etc. But definitely gratitude, right? We know
yeah,
happiness and gratitude is very similar, but being grateful right now. I'll tell you now, Susan, if you got, or my mother got coronavirus, I'm still not going to feed her fear. I'm not going to feed you fear. I'm not going to feed myself fear, because it's not making me better.
yeah. Worry's just a wasted energy, isn't it, really, and things, isn't it?
I like that. Worrying is a wasted energy. There is absolutely no benefit.
Yeah,
Now, there's no benefit to feeling fear. There is zero benefit to worry. You try and tell me, anyone try and tell me here that there is a benefit to worrying. Of course, there is a benefit to noticing what to be afraid of, but from an I've just lost my words, objective, from an objective point of view, okay, that is something to be afraid of. I'm aware of that. Let me assess my situation and then adjust accordingly. What should I be doing differently? Should I be staying at home? Should I be thinking differently? How can I be at the guard at the door of my mind right now? I call it my self rescue method. If you're not feeling good, get aware, assess what you're doing or not doing, and then adjust accordingly. Triple A. So that is one thing. Noticing fear. We're survival creatures. We have to notice fear. But feeling afraid, that is a choice.
yeah. I mean, the thing is that we all, I think, since Friday, I would say we all either have closed our salons
Hmm.
or are in the process of closing, possibly today. If someone hasn't, or whenever the government say, which is not going to be very far off.
Hmm.
And then obviously you've got your team that you're handling as well, kind of thing. It's like, so what advice can we give salon owners that, for them to be strong? And I do think that like it's a period of change that we're in, and we will like come out of this better and stronger. It's just at the moment there's just so much uncertainty that I think that's where a lot of the fear is coming from, of like, because people like to know what they're going to be doing tomorrow, what they're going to be doing, like next week. And people are in sort of a routine, and all of a sudden there's no routine, there's no, like, you've got no answers for your team, there's it's just gone from a certainty to a total uncertainty.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, I just think, right, I've got 3 months possibly now. This is time where I know, just from being here, the time I've had with a clear head, because now I think once the decision is to close or whatever, then you move into a different era, kind of thing. And everyone really is forced into this environment of like that their routine has to change, which gives them more time. So to me, that's time where I'm going to sit down and carefully think what I really want,
Hmm.
and then start to plan in like a new direction,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. So there's so much I can say. Sorry to interrupt, but it's like all these things are stacking up while you're talking, and I'm probably only going to get half of them across. But most people don't do what they really want. Most people, because they don't have time.
Yes.
So now's the time for you to go all in on that thing. Is it rest? Is it more reading? Is it more relaxation? Is it more sleep? Is it brainstorming, journaling, working on your business versus always working in your business? Now is certainly a time of uncertainty. Now is certainly a time of not knowing. But if you live in the present moment and you don't try and plan your future, and you don't try and, create or recreate your past or move away from your past because it wasn't happy, then you're just always in the moment. And when you're in the moment, things are always just folding out in front of you. You're not planning your next step, right? We might be always, if we're out of the present moment, as Eckhart Tolle would say, living in the now, or the power of the now. When we're not in the now, we're either in the future or the past, which means we're either in expectation, or we're in depression, or we're in planning for the future, or we're in running away from our past, etc., etc. We're never just here. So when you're here, when you're in the present moment, when you're in the now, the only thing you look at is you look at what's right in front of you. And you just trust that everything's going to unfold that day, right? You don't run around, you don't hide behind a tree all day and worrying about what's going to happen today. It's only when you think about the future, you never really worry about your next few steps. It's like driving a car at night. The headlamps or the headlights can just see 3-4 meters in front of you, and you're not freaking out. You're just trusting, you're just having faith that the path will unfold. Now, I'm not a religious man, but I believe in God. And religion is about faith, and faith is about trust. So for me, God stands for good, orderly direction, and trusting that everything is on its way. I believe in that so much that I want to have it as one of my next tattoos. Everything is on its way. Or just
I like that.
or just it's on its way. Whatever you're thinking about, it's on its way. So to come back to this time of uncertainty and what to do, etc., first we've got to understand that we as human beings are nature. We are significant beings. Some might say the most significant, some might say not, but we are surely significant. But we are still part of nature. And in nature, the law of impermanence exists always. The law that everything is growing and dying, everything is always evolving, changing, moving, reinventing itself. Even a rock formation over many years, the most solid, still foundation over years changes form. So we're always changing form. So number one, it's to understand the law of impermanence and that nothing ever stays the same. Relationships don't stay the same. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Even if you're lucky enough to be a 10%er, or a 5%er of the world, and you have a relationship that lasts for a lifetime, you'd be foolish to think that over decades that relationship doesn't change itself. Nothing ever remains the same. But sometimes in life, our change comes unexpectedly. And it happens when we least expect, or in my case last year, when I got hit head on by a drunk driver and left for dead on the side of the road in a hit and run accident. It wasn't even before I expected. It was without me expecting, right? I found out later what happened because I was knocked out. So, but me knowing that, waking up in hospital, I was aware then, okay, this is just another part of nature, right? Something is happening right now. There's a breakdown, but after a breakdown, usually there follows a breakthrough. And in this current breakdown that we're experiencing, lots of people are going through breakdowns, but also lots of them are going through breakthroughs. Susan, I'm sure you've had some breakthroughs. I've had some breakthroughs. To everyone here looking for that breakthrough, know that in your breakdown, you're exactly where you need to be. So understanding this law of impermanence and things are always changing, and sometimes our change and evolution and reinvention comes when we least expect it, or when we weren't expecting it at all. Like, how is this happening now? Knowing that things are always changing, also know this, that every single challenge we've ever been through, we've survived. Now, I speak this to you personally, but also to all human beings. Every single challenge we've ever been through, whether world wars or the plague or viruses, the Spanish flu, everything we've ever experienced collectively as human beings, we've survived. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this live. Not only have we survived, but over the years, we keep reinventing ourselves. If we go back 10 years, right, Zoom or Facebook Live or whatever didn't exist. If we go back 30 years, internet didn't exist. If we go back 100 years, I don't know, Range Rover most cars didn't exist. So if you look at everything we've been through, number one, we've survived, but actually we've more than survived. we've come out on top every single time. It might not be immediately, but we always come out on top. And everyone here knows that the world will be a better place after this. I'm not taking away from the pain and misery that people are feeling in their suffering and their families suffering. I'm not taking that away, but I'm telling you now that after this will come beauty. The world will simplify, the world will unify, the world will learn to love more. And I say more because it's already in the process. Unification, compassion, kindness, coming together is already happening all around us. So to come back to the last thing I want to share. So one, understand that everything's always changing. Two, understand that everything you've ever been through in your life, you've got through on a personal level. Two, look back at your life, the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you're still here. You're still here. And thirdly, you've just got to embrace it. You've got to keep your mind open and your heart open, because as long as you're open and your mind and heart are open, then you're open to love. You're open to potential. You're open to possibility. But if you close yourself off, you close yourself off to everything that this reinvention has to offer you. So stay out of fear, stay in love, stay in gratitude, do your very best, even when it's not easy, even when it's difficult, and keep your mind and your heart wide, wide, wide open, because be ready. I say in life, expect nothing, but be ready for anything.
Just one thing, when you, before what you were saying before, I feel that I'm sort of like a couple of weeks ahead of where I would be if I was at home. Because if I was at home, I would have just been, in the last couple of weeks, working flat out trying to figure out what I was going to be doing with all of this. And then, sort of, when you're like saying about breakthroughs, it wouldn't have been through that turmoil. It would have been now that the salon's closed, and it would have been, right, now what do I think of? Because I came out here to do some work and to have time to think and plan, I think I've handled it in a different way, probably because I've had, when you were saying about breakthroughs, while I've been here, I've come up with so many ideas of like things that I want to implement. And, when I left the UK, they were just starting to talk a little bit about the virus. And I don't think anybody thought it was going to escalate how it has. But the thing is, I've had that time, which now I think most people are going to have, who've like closed their businesses, they're going to start that time that I've had here, kind of thing, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I've had weeks of like having a clear head, and now I think is the time that everyone else will start and get a clear head, because they're out of that, the decision's being made, right, you've got to close, or you're near that kind of thing. So yeah, as I say, I feel like it's been I've been on a slightly different journey, kind of thing. Because as I say, if I was at home, I'd have been in everybody else's anxiety
Yeah.
over
So
it.
once again, that comes back to what I said before. Be very careful of what you're consuming. Right now, stillness is our friend, not just
Yeah.
for the virus, but if you want to get to a breakthrough earlier in your breakdown, don't surround yourself or immerse yourself in chaos right now. That's crazy. So, like you said, you went and you found a quiet place. Look, there's a reason why, and I've known this for many years, that there's a saying that holidays are the best university. Because when you, as a coach myself, when I try and explain, or don't try, I explain to people about coaching, I explain it like this: you are in the arena of your life every day. And when you work with a coach, what it does is when you go to a coaching retreat or a coaching event or a seminar, for that moment, you're stepping outside of your usual life. And then when you step outside of your usual life, it's like stepping off the bullet train, and you're able to actually see everything that's going on around you. And you're able to see it from a very different perspective. So right now, almost this time of self-isolation and quarantine, it's almost like you're having a moment of coaching. What is coaching? It's reflection, It's gaining perspective or different perspectives on your life. It's asking really good questions, or asking yourself better questions because you're not busy and now you're able to slow down. It's also a time for you to just slow down your whole life and use that AAA rescue method, which is, now that I'm here, let me get as aware as possible. Right? For you on your holiday, I'm sure without you even knowing this, you're doing the same thing. You're doing AAA self-rescue. You're gaining awareness by sitting, brainstorming, journaling, and just asking yourself really good questions. Then you're assessing based on the answers that you get from your newfound awareness. You're then assessing, what do I want to do more of, less of? Where do I need to move towards? Where do I need to move away from? What am I good at? What am I bad at? What do I, what do I want to push into my life and into my business? And what do I want to stop pushing? Because I realize now that actually it was just holding me back. But it's assessing everything. And then the third thing is adjust. Right? Take that awareness, take that self-assessment of your life, your business, your health, your fitness, your relationships, your environment, your personal growth, your finances, your health, your wealth, and then adjust accordingly. Now might not be a time to adjust just yet. So maybe just spend your time now in just assessing. Stay slow, stay present, stay isolated, stay healthy, stay clean, and stay just in assessing, right? If this is an non-negotiable, like meaning this is not a choice for me, but I'm having to force myself to reinvent myself, or I'm having to force my business to reinvent itself, or I'm having to reinvent my team, or I'm having to reinvent the way that I work, where I work from, the amount of hours that I work, right? There's a lot of your time in your life where you wouldn't have had this opportunity that you have right now. So take advantage of this. Send prayers out every day to those affected, and then use this time as a fuel for your future, fuel for your future fulfillment, fuel for your purpose, your passions going forward, and how you want to realign your life and your business. And look, I understand, right? This might sound like super positive, but it's not about, this is not coming from a pretty picture. And I'm saying, hey, look, someone said to me, because I do my very best to be positive wherever I go, even in my own misery. And someone said to me, oh, this is not a time for positivity right now. No, so they said a positive mindset won't save this. And I said, you're right, it won't save it, but it will damn well help. And I'll put my hand up and say, after my accident, as a coach and a speaker, someone that gets paid and has been paid most of his adult life for time exchange, on the 22nd of May 2019, when I got hit by a hit and run driver, my ability to earn revenue went from hundreds of thousands to zero.
Yeah.
So 8 months after that accident, January, I'm still digging myself out of a hole every day. And then coronavirus hits me. So I'm thinking, like, I don't know how to fulfill contracts. I don't know what's going on. The level of uncertainty right now is at 95%. And the level of certainty is the 5% is purely, I know where my mind will carry me. That's it. Yeah. All of the uncertainty is in my business. And we have to surrender to what is. Tony Robbins always says, don't make the situation worse than it is. That's a choice. Make it what it is, first of all, and then find a way to make it better than it is. If I have to, over the next few months, put my hand up and say, I surrender, I'm declaring bankruptcy, whatever the worst case scenario may be, I have no guilt or shame in that, because I know that by liberating or freeing myself, I might give other people permission to do the same and say, shit, my business went bust too. But maybe I don't have to choose to have shame about it, because, the law of impermanence, everything's always changing. Maybe this is my own reinvention. And maybe, just maybe, because of everything that I've been through as in my life, I've got through, and everything that we've been through as human beings that we've got through, maybe, just maybe, because of God and good orderly direction, maybe, just maybe, everything will be okay.
Just on that note, when you just said about
Like a preacher.
when
You
you
got
said
me
about
going, Susan.
I just made us think, because I think I said to you, like, on Wednesday I've got Jeremy Harbour, who's like the world's best business turnaround expert, coming on, getting interviewed, which I was like, well, his mum used to have a Guino salon, so I was like, Jeremy, because obviously that's where I learned all of mine from. But I can always remember Jeremy saying this to me, well, saying it to a few of us, that, when he first ever lost his first business, when it went bankrupt, he said, up until then, it was like walking on a tightrope. He said, and as soon as he went bankrupt first time, he just realised that that rope was only 6 inches off the ground. He said,
Oh, that is brilliant.
it was just from there, it was the best night's sleep he ever had, and onwards. But I just thought, and that's always stuck with me, because sometimes it is like you're walking on a tightrope. And he said, then you just realised it's only 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah, so I would say I really love that, by him surrendering to what is, he was able to gain a different perspective and realize that this thing that he was trying to keep alive or upright, it was the smallest thing, and he wasn't even getting off the ground. And now, obviously, I know Jeremy Harbour as well. He's playing a very, very big game in life and business, entrepreneurship and philanthropy. I mean, he doesn't play small, does he? So, but I'm not saying that,
going bankrupt, you learned so much that then that gives you the tools to go on. So, but I'm saying, like, out of something that at the time seemed like it was something disastrous,
yeah,
it's huge.
So I said to one of my coaches yesterday, he said, how are you doing with everything going on? Obviously, JP, you're self-employed. And I said, look, it is what it is. I just have no emotional response to it. Now, I'm very great. Like, I wake up in a state of gratitude because I wasn't always like this. But, my whole life has been about teaching self-mastery and learning self-mastery. And I'm very, very grateful right now in this situation to be able to have gotten to a place in my life where I don't attach myself to my things happening in my life. Like, I attach myself to how I want to feel on the inside. And that's, I want to feel healthy. I want to feel happy. I want to feel in love with life. I want to feel kind and compassionate towards others, or humans or animals or beings. And no business can take that away from me. No failure can take that away from me. No person can take that away from me. So it just is what it is. So I'm not encouraging people to go bankrupt. I'm saying keep fighting. Keep fighting, knowing what you now know. Keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting, but do it with love. Fight for love. Fight for who you love, for what you love. Fight from a place of love, not from fear.
Yeah.
Because
no, that's really good. Yeah.
fighting from fear and being fearful about trying to keep this thing alive might just be foolish, because the thing that you're most trying to keep alive might not be the thing that you actually want to keep alive, or maybe the thing that should be being kept alive right now. Maybe you've been doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, and maybe this is the universal, or God sent gift for you to say, hey, it's time to change.
That's it. I think it is a time of change, massive change.
Yeah, you said that before. It's a global, this is a awareness. Becoming aware of something is the first step to changing anything. This is a global moment of awareness. No one can ignore that. The whole world as a collective is more aware about certain things than we've ever been. So yeah, there is beauty in misery.
Just one very last thing, JP. So we talked tiny bit about immune system, keeping it high.
Yeah.
What sort of 5 things can someone do that they've now got all this time to themselves? The need to like make sure that they are as healthy as possible. What 5 things can they be doing?
Okay, so just to kind of give more context, the number one thing, if you're worried about getting a virus, the number one thing you want to do is protect your soldiers, your army that are protecting you. And your army that are protecting you is your immune system. So you want to protect your immune system. A lot of what we just discussed is going to affect your immune system. So love or fear. Love is going to strengthen your immune system. Fear will lower your immune system. The energy chart that I mentioned before, anything that raises your hertz, your frequency, your vibration, this is strengthening your immune system. Go Google it, how to raise my energy, how to raise my frequency, how to raise my vibration, and go do more of those things as much as you can, as often as you can, because right now, more than ever, your life depends on it. So then there's practical things that you can do, or simple things that you can do every day that heighten and strengthen your immune system. You might have had a life of unhealth, of not being healthy, or being unwell, but day by day, you can't control, but you can influence your immune system every day. So this is what I would recommend. Number one, wake up and drink a lot of water, especially warm water, because apparently the virus doesn't like warm water. Its natural temperature where it most thrives is 4 or 5 degrees Celsius. So do your very best to not drink any cold water right now. Drink loads of warm water, lemon water, tea, etc. Secondly, once you've drank loads of water, meditate, because meditate takes you from fear and into love. You and I are both students of meditation, Susan. We've both done work with Joe Dispenza, and we know that the deeper you go into meditation, the deeper you go into yourself, your true self, and your heart. And the deeper you do that, the deeper you go into love. And fear and love cannot exist in the same place. You cannot have love and fear in the same place. So know that when you're feeling fear or uncertainty, it's because you're not feeling love, or you're not thinking thoughts of love, because your thoughts create your feelings, and your thoughts create your emotions, and then your emotions create your physical self.
Yeah.
Your emotions create the strength of your immune system, whether you're in a state of ease, living in a state of ease physically and physiologically, versus dis-ease where you get disease. So meditate, meditate, meditate. If you've been sitting on the fence and you've been thinking about it for years, now is your time. You do not have an excuse. And obviously, how we do anything is the why we do anything. The stronger your why, the easier it is to get something done. Why do you need a bigger why right now? You don't need a bigger why right now, that I'm protecting myself from getting ill. I'm protecting my army. Think every time you breathe in meditation, you're breathing in certainty into your army, protecting you. You're breathing in certainty and love into your immune system every single time you take a deep, healthy breath. So breathe deeper whilst you meditate, and breathe deeper in life. And of course, we are what we consume. So make sure that you're consuming all the colors of the rainbow, predominantly green foods. And that doesn't mean eat a whole bag of M&Ms. It means natural food in its natural form. Right now, you want to be eating natural food in its natural form, not canned tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, not canned anything, fresh. Look for fresh food. Why? Because what we want to be right now is we want to be alive. So just eat alive foods. Eat anything that's alive. Try and avoid dead stuff. Obviously, I've been plant-based for over 3 years now, and I'm very much thriving. And I know that right now, my why for eating more plants, not just being vegan, but eating more plants, right? You can still be vegan and be unhealthy, eat shitloads of bread and vegan pizza and vegan sweets. But my why for eating green food is through the roof, higher than it's ever been right now in my whole life. And I'm eating that food not with fear, Susan, because like I said, what we focus on is what we feel. So I'm not eating my green food and going, oh, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, because now what you're focusing on is dying. So I'm nourishing and nurturing my body, mind, spirit, and soul through water, meditation. I'm walking, I live in the country. I'm going for a forest walk every day or a country walk every day. I'm doing very light exercise. I'm eating all the colors of the rainbow. I'm doing my best not to eat lots of sugar and carbs at night. And then, of course, just the most important thing that you're consuming every single day is language. Be very, very careful what you're consuming. I've done a video of this on my Facebook about being careful about what you're consuming on social media, because the algorithm, the program on social media is actually giving you more and more of what you're looking at, because it's a business and it wants to keep you there. So they go, hey, Susan likes to watch fear. Let's show Susan more fear of why. Susan likes to watch videos of businesses failing or salons failing. Let's show her more videos of salons failing. And then, of course, what we consume, we become. So I would say right now, you want to do your very best to consume videos of fluffy bunnies in the street. Right. And obviously I'm being playful, but go find love, go find joy, go find humor. If you do not have a Netflix account, right, go online and watch comedy videos on YouTube. But if you can, just turn your Netflix to comedy, set it to comedy all day long, because laughter is scientifically proven to strengthen your immune system. Right, there's this message going around that 50 odd years ago, whatever, people were risking their lives to go to war and fight for their countries. Now all we're having to do to fight for our countries is sit at home. Right, it's not that difficult, but be careful what you're consuming. You could be sitting at home trying to keep yourself alive, yet you're killing yourself because you're making yourself more susceptible to disease because of the food that you're eating, the media you're consuming, and the thoughts that you're having. So think carefully, eat carefully, and consume and scroll carefully.
Brilliant. Oh, JP, that has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. I know this is recorded on my thing, but I don't think it's going to cross all the groups yet. So what we're going to do is now pop it across all the groups, kind of thing. So yeah, thank you so much. And obviously I know a lot of people follow you, but what follow you further is on.
So if anyone, obviously I'm a coach by profession. I have been most of my adult life. I help people reach levels or higher levels of self-mastery in mind, body, and heart. And I have one way in which they can come into my tribe, my family, and that's called Best Life MBA. It's an MBA, a personal development MBA for your best life. And it's the website is bestlifemba.com. And if people just want to follow me and watch what I'm doing, because I'm an altruist and a servant leader, I'm serving now more than I ever have in my life. I'm doing shed loads of videos. Just type my name, Jean Pierre de Villiers, into Facebook or Instagram. Instagram every day, Facebook every day. And Facebook, it'll bring up two Jean Pierre de Villiers. One is my personal profile. Please don't try and add me there. I'm already full. But if you go to my public page and like my page, I post content there multiple times every day.
Yeah, and it's brilliant content if somebody hasn't been on before. So JP, thank you so much once again. Always so grateful, and I'm sure I'll be like pulling, like saying, can you come back on again soon? So
I've got the time.
So no doubt, yeah, we'll be doing something again soon. Yeah, because your content is just priceless. Brilliant. Thank you, JP.
Thank you, Susan. I love you, and to everyone listening, I say this often, including to myself, that sometimes in life it's not possible to be the best, but it's always possible to do our best. And if even your best today is 10% of what you usually can give the world and yourself, then so be it. But just don't give up and do nothing, because doing nothing gets you nowhere. And doing something will always get you somewhere, or you'll always learn something by doing something.
Brilliant.
Keep showing, keep moving forward, stay in momentum. All the best. Thank you.
That's love. See you soon. Bye.